Hey folks, George here. In this series on just war or justice in war or ethics and morality in war, we will now visit an article by Michael Walzer entitled The Legalist Paradigm. Now, Michael Walzer is going to defend traditional just war theory. Right? And he does it or explains it in what he calls this legalist paradigm. What he asks is, let's imagine that nations have rights just like people do. And then we can imagine that nations should and can protect their rights. To be sure, Walzer recognizes that the international community is imperfect. Why is it imperfect? Because there is no overarching authority in the same way that in the domestic realm we have an overarching government. But in the international realm, there really is no overarching authority. Since there is no overarching authority, what this implies or entails is that nations must defend themselves, must depend on themselves for protection. From this fact, two presumptions follow. The first is the right to self-defense once aggression happens. This allows that rights, the rights that a nation has, can be maintained, and it deters future aggression. Self-defense is in the name of everyone in the nation, right? And thus, others can help me defend myself, including other nations. Here's the crux, however. The second thing that this implies is that a just war can never be just on both sides. One side must be the bad guy, I guess Walzer is really saying here, right? There must be one good side and one bad side in traditional just war theory. Even though there might be wars where both sides are unjust, you cannot have a war where both sides are just. This comes from the assumption, Walzer says, that the deepest purpose or justification of any government at all, of any state at all, of any nation or country at all, their deepest purpose is for the self-defense and security, not to conquer and take over other countries. This legalist paradigm assumes, therefore, that it is the fundamental structure. This legalist paradigm is the fundamental structure for the moral comprehension of war. Number one, there is an international society of independent nations. Number two, these nations have rights. Certainly the rights of territory and the right to sovereignty. Number three, any use or threat or force against a state, against another state, is aggression and it is criminal. Number four, aggression justifies self-defense by the victim. And it also justifies others coming to help me in my self-defense. Number five, nothing but aggression can justify war. The only justification for my nation waging war is aggression against my nation. And number six, once aggression has been stopped, the aggressor can also be punished. So just like me, if I'm assaulted on the street by a perpetrator, not only will the police come and stop the perpetrator who's assaulting me, but the police and the government will also punish the perpetrator for assaulting me. That punishment is justified, and so the same goes, Walzer claims, for aggressor nations. So these are some of the ways that Walzer expands upon or details the traditional just war theory by Thomas Aquinas. See you next time. Bye-bye.